Welcome to Hawaii Preppers Network. Today I'd like to go over some very simple, quick meals to make that doesn't take that much time. Tops 20 minutes, half an hour, perhaps even 45 minutes. Now a lot of these recipes I have it in my head and I don't really have a specific amounts when it comes to each of the ingredients, but there are the recipes all over the internet as well as on YouTube here. Since I've been using a lot of these recipes over the years, I've sort of kind of accumulated the specific amounts and measurements in my head, and a lot of it is more or less seasoned to taste, which I'm sure a lot of you do these types of recipes as well. A lot of the teriyaki recipes, basically the ingredients is soy sauce, sugar, brown sugar and or white sugar, as well as water, garlic, and ginger. You could also use honey in place of the sugar, which I do use the honey instead of sugars. So for instance, there is shoyu chicken, which is soy sauce and marinated with the sugar. You have the garlic, you have the ginger as well. You slice up the ginger in slivers, and you have the garlic bulbs, which you just mash as you peel them and you toss them into the pot. So what I do for the shoyu chicken is I use 1 cup of water, I use 1.5 cups of soy sauce, and I use about maybe half a cup of honey into it, and then I taste it to see if it needs more of one or the other ingredients in that dish. Now you could also make a marinated sauce for barbecue as well. You're going to marinate that raw chicken in the teriyaki sauce, as well as you can marinate a beef. You can do it with the beef flanks as well, and you can marinate that in the refrigerator for at least an hour, 2 hours. The longer the better, especially if you have barbecues. This is really delicious for barbecues when you have barbecue teriyaki chicken, barbecue teriyaki beef. You can pretty much do the teriyaki on any meat that you choose to do so. You could also make teriyaki burgers. Now that is really yummy. You use the marinating sauce into the burger that you mix, and you just fry it. After that, you throw it on the grill. You could also top it off with some cheese, and that's so yummy. You might want to try that one as well. Now Spam is so versatile, and you can use it just about in anything and everything. A favorite of mine was the pineapple Spam. You prep it and you make it as if you're making the ham, as that ham that you cook for like Thanksgiving, Christmas. You prep it the same way. You use the pineapple sauce, canned pineapple. You can use fresh as well. You use all of that gravy in the can, and you can add brown sugar and or honey. You use the cloves, and that you poke them into the slices of the Spam, and then you set that in a pan, and then you put it in the oven and you bake that very short. It doesn't need to be baked very long. I believe about 20 minutes tops, and it's really fast. It's really yummy as well. You can also make Spam omelets, toss Spam into your salads. You could also toss that into a fried noodle mix, fried rice as well. There's so many things that you can do with the Spam, and in your ramen too. You can dice it and throw it in the ramen with vegetables, all kind of different things that you like. You can also add lettuce into that ramen mix. It's really good. You can add whatever vegetables that you feel that you like into that ramen mix to make it more of a hearty meal for you. Ramen, you can also add in shredded chicken, you can add in beef, you can add in pork, you can add tofu, you can add mushrooms. Pretty much anything and everything goes when it comes to making ramen. Now we all know that there's a zillion ways of making chicken dishes, chicken recipes. You can just use soup mixes like the mushroom soup, Campbell's mushroom soup. You can add that into your chicken as well as hamburger. You know, you can make what is that called, hamburger steak with different soup mixes as well. You can make baked chicken so many different ways. One of the favorite ones that I like is paprika chicken. So what I do is I marinate that chicken in paprika. I toss in a lot of different garlic bulbs. I mash it a little and I just throw it in there. And I also add lots of lemon juice in there. And I mix it, marinate that all together really quickly. And I put it in a pan. And then I put it in the oven. And I let that bake for about half an hour to 45 minutes. Comes out really juicy, really nice. You want the chicken with the bone, the chicken with the skin, because it holds the moisture in and the flavor in as well, and it's really yummy. You might want to try that one. I don't know if you remember Sizzler's restaurant's Malibu chicken. That's super easy. You just use the chicken patties that you can purchase in whatever grocery stores, and you top that with some either sliced ham or sliced turkey, and then you add a layer of cheese on there, and you just bake that very short. You don't need to leave it in the oven very long. I think tops would be about 20 minutes, and when it's done, you just bring that out. And you can eat that with all your different sides. If you want rice, potatoes, pastas as well. Vegetables you can add. Now how to make the sauce, the dipping sauce, is just mayo and mustard. Is that simple, that quick, that easy. Now fish, there's so many different types of fish to make and eat. I really like ahi and I like mahi. I've tried other fishes, but for myself, the simplest was one or the other of these two, and I really like it because it's really tasty. So one of the ways that I do make different fishes is I bake it in foil. I bring out a foil, I chop up all different types of vegetables that I like, and I chop, I make that piece of fish in the foil first. Then I top it with each vegetable. Then I add some soy sauce on it as flavoring, and I put some pepper and whatever spices and herbs that I feel would add to the flavor. Then I squeeze some lemon juice over the entire layers of the vegetables going down to the fish. So I fold that up and I put it in the oven, and I let that bake for a very short time. Now fish doesn't take that long to cook, and so certain fish you don't want to cook it that long, you don't want to bake it that long, you don't want to fry it that long either. So in the oven, I would say tops again would be at least 20 minutes, half an hour, and you're done. And so the entire fish is marinated, very tasty, as well as the vegetables. So you get that mix all together with your vegetables, and it's really, really good. Another fish recipe would be like a stir fry type of fish, where you chop up the fish. Could be any kind of fish, but I use ahi. So I cut the ahi into slivers or cubes and then I toss that in a pan, and I add garlic, I add tomatoes, I add mushrooms, and I add onions, and I just mix that all up. And it's really yummy with side dishes. rice and other vegetables and or macaroni salad. You can also have chicken with a lot of different pasta dishes as well. Before I forget that one, spaghetti. There's so many different dishes that you can do with spaghetti. You can use all the different types of pastas for the spaghetti. You can have spaghetti with meat sauce or just the sauce, depending on how you feel. Beans, baked beans. You can do this in the oven as well as over the stove. It's up to you, whichever way that you decide to do it. For me, the fastest way is over the stove. It's really quick, really simple, really easy, and I love it. Now, the thing with beans, pork and beans, is you can also make a sandwich out of that. You just layer your bread with mayo, and then you layer it with the beans, and there you go. You got yourself a bean sandwich. It's really, really yummy. Soups, sandwiches, and salads definitely go hand in hand. And there's a variety of different types of soups, sandwiches, and salads that are simple, basic, and easy to make for you and your family. So don't forget those simple meals. You can also make sandwiches with your ramen as well. Now that would be a super hearty meal. You'll have the ramen and you'll have your different sandwiches that you can choose and decide to go with that ramen. Curry. We can make curry in so many different ways, in so many different dishes. The basic and simple ones is beef curry. You make it like beef stew, but instead it's curry beef stew. You can do chicken curry. You can do hamburger curry as well. It'll be like your spaghetti meat sauce, but instead it'll be a hamburger curry sauce over rice. And in this hamburger curry, you can also add like carrots, beans, you can add onions, you can add corn, you can add different types of vegetables in it, and it's really good. It's really hearty with rice. Your chicken curry, you could make shredded chicken with the curry, or you could dice up the chicken and fry that chicken and then do the curry, just like the beef curry. But for the beef, to make it really soft, what I do is I boil it in water for at least 45 minutes to an hour. That way, by the time the beef is ready and the beef curry, the beef literally just melts in your mouth. So the longer that you have the meat boiling, the softer it becomes, and it's not as tough to chew. Simple snacks to make can be trail mixes and bars. We all know how simple those are, to make. So unless if you decide to choose to buy it, but it's really simple to make at home for yourself and your family. Just like pretzels, where you flavor it in different flavors such as honey and mustard and or ranch flavoring. Those are very simple as well. And then you have your dehydrated fruits that you could add into all these mixes. Or you could just eat the dehydrated fruits alone and add that into your cereal or your oatmeal, or however you choose. You can just snack on that alone as well. So these are just a few quick and simple, easy meals. I know I don't have pictures. I don't really have measurements. There are measurements, but I don't go by measurements because the measurements are already in my head. I more or less gauge things like that. But if you prefer measurements, I would suggest to look up the recipes, and they have the exact measurements for you, especially if you have not made any of these recipes and or mixes, perhaps you'd want to go that route first, and then once you get the hang of it, then you can, just gauge it by yourself on your own, like how I do. If it's too watery, or if it's too sweet or too salty, I just add in one or the other ingredients, more or less, to get the right flavoring. But if you want to be exact, I would suggest to look into the recipes online on the internet, as well as on here on YouTube, because there is a lot of people making a lot of different yummy foods, and they show a lot of the measurements of these recipes. So it's just something that's already ingrained in my head, so I just naturally do how I do in the recipes that I make in my simple meals. And it's really fast, it's really quick, and it's really, really yummy. And another thing, you want to really use fresh foods. I mean, we stock up on a lot of processed foods, and it's a good thing to, eat those things in moderation, because too much of one thing is seemingly not too good. Like the packaged ramen, that stuff is kind of nasty. If you don't know by now, if anything, go to an Asian store, and they have packs of the real type of ramen that you want, and it has the instructions how to make it, as well as the sauces that they have too. Those are the types of ramens that you really want to stock up on, because the other one is pretty nasty, and you need to eat that in moderation, if anything. But if anything, try to replace it with the better ramen, the one that you have to make yourself. I think that's the best option health wise. But everything should be taken and eaten in moderation, utilizing any supplemental ingredients such as your garden vegetables, your garden fruits, herbs, spices as well. Everything fresh as much as you possibly can. So guys, this is about it. Hope you liked this video, and thanks for watching. Thank you all for subscribing, and if you have not subscribed by now, please do so, and follow and share this link as well. So guys, have a great weekend. Aloha.